Nerds International proudly presents
Coming at you live from the Court of Chaos, it's me, Nick Lamley Lambslice.
And me, Harrison Hunt, aka Nazubu the Fearless.
And we are
The TableTopTwats.
Yes, we are.
So today we got a big show for you today. We've got the big show. He's come on as a guest.
We couldn't get him in the flat though, so he's actually standing outside through chatting through the window.
Hello.
Big show.
Yes.
It's not going to work, mate. We're not going to get you in here.
Oh! It's very cold out here.
There's a Burger King down the road.
I didn't know Big Show was English.
Neither did I. I didn't know you got so cold in the summer.
Can you chuck me a sandwich?
Sure. Ham?
I'm a vegan.
Oh, great.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Vegans are everywhere, mate.
Vegans are everywhere.
Just close the window, Nick.
Yeah, fair enough. There we go, we can't hear him now. Okay, so we've got no big show. Shut up. We got no big show, but we've got a big show.
A big show.
Yeah.
So this is an RPG podcast all about tabletop RPGs.
Certainly is.
And we've got What You've Been Slaying, where we talk about what we've been playing. We've got the main subject, which this time is going to be the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles RPG.
Oh my God.
Yes, exactly. And we've got the game design guys, Chamber of Challenges. We've got a competition where we're going to be giving away some very good prizes.
Nice.
And we've got electro letters and, of course, the award-winning, death-defying outro. They tried to kill it, but it wouldn't stay down.
It wouldn't stay down, no.
So, let's get on with it, motherfuckers.
Take that. Oi! Yeah? What you slaying?
So this is What You've Been Slaying, where we talk about what we've been playing. It's very clever.
Super clever pun on words.
It's a pun on words. So, first off, let's talk about Bubblegum Crisis.
Yeah.
What's going on with that, Nick?
Wow. What an episode.
It's been crazy.
It has been crazy. It's pretty brutal, but I'm not sure if it's because the game's incredibly brutal or we're playing it incredibly brutally.
Yeah, I don't know. It did get...
I think it's somewhere in between.
I think the game is realistic. I don't want to say it's brutal, but it's realistic because...
The whole hospital thing, definitely.
Yeah. So basically, this is a cyberpunk game set in a futuristic Japan, and... the guys at the moment, they're trying to track down these kind of... there's basically these helper robots that are going rogue and killing people called boomers. Mm-hmm. And the guys are trying to capture one. Mm-hmm. And there was reports of one on a highway. There was a transforming one that could transform into a car.
Yeah.
And there was...
Wiping out biker gangs.
Yeah. So these guys were trying to capture one. Mm-hmm. Now, they'd done a little bit of research, a little bit of recon, and they'd encountered it once before. And whilst they were on the highway... they'd seen it, and then they were just trying to basically sell their company.
Yeah, because we got threatened by basically the head of Genom.
He's like a mega corporation.
It's a mega corporation. He's like a multi-billionaire, corrupt organisation kind of leader, and he's after us. So he
basically called you guys up and was just like, "Well, I know where you work." So they were trying to relocate to a new location.
Our plan was that the underwear shop that our boss originally owned was destroyed. So we thought we'd have a ruse of a shop, like a fake shop front. Well, no, it's a real shop, but it's more of a guise, so we could keep our operations undercover. Mm-hmm. So we created a phone shop, and then our idea was to open a second shop and say that the original business had moved. So if Genom did come after us, they would look there and
they'd go to the original location and just go, well, okay, she's obviously sold the building to somebody else. She's not here.
So we was like, right, so let's get a building that's not too far away, ideally somewhere that we can actually view our other business, and either way that we can, we've got a vantage point on both. So we went down and walked into it was a bit of a hipster coffee shop, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was called Avo Coffee. It was like a picture of an avocado that looked like a coffee cup.
Made me so angry.
Sorry.
It was an avocado with a cup handle coming out the side.
It was the most hipster thing I could come up with on short notice.
So we went in there, and we tried first of all civilised.
Yeah, you tried a civilised way. It was so funny because Peter's everyone was like going in just. No, it was first of all James's character went in, Chad, and he was just like, "Yo, hey baby, what's going on?"
Let me buy the shop.
And then he just suddenly went, "Let me buy the shop. You want to say shop?
Let me buy the shop."
Yeah, and it was like crazy. And then Peter's character came in, who's a bit of a nutter psychopath guy, and was just like...
Kind of leaned in, didn't he? And
He
just
leaned in and went, just tell me the fucking shop or I'm going to stab you. And she's like, oh, yeah, that's fine, but I just need to call the owner. And then she just picks up the phone and was like,
Police?
oh, yeah, police. Yeah, she just called the police immediately. And obviously it started popping off. Even though a couple of the characters are policemen, well, what happened is that the police turned up, and just as she was on the phone, Sean's character Harvey decided to shoot the phone out of her hand.
Yeah, he wanted to shut down the situation straight away, so he whipped his pistol out and just shot the phone out of her hand. But obviously, shots fired.
Yeah,
that was it. The police didn't think twice. They shot first, acted second. So,
well, no, they turned up and did say everyone get on the ground.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
and then nobody did. Harvey just talked. he was just.
They were trying to pretend to work in the coffee shop, weren't they?
Yeah,
they was like, right, let's get behind the counter, start brewing some coffee.
And then the police turn up and just went, everybody get on the ground. And Harvey's like, well, actually, you gotta listen to me, guy, and he's like, no, get on the ground. Well, actually, man. And then
Look,
it was
man.
just like, well, roll initiative.
Yeah,
you didn't get on the ground.
Yeah.
And so this brutal gunfight happened.
Oh man, automatic weapon fire ensued.
Yeah, and basically, guns do realistic damage in this game.
Absolutely.
If you're not wearing armour, you're fucked. And
so was Juntao.
Juntao,
sorry. Yeah,
racist.
He went down.
He died, man. Peter's character Juntao died, and then one of the highlights of the fight was, of course, Gerard, who is a Frenchman.
Oh my god, yeah.
He's sort of a French anarchy guy.
Yeah.
Anarchy guy. I believe they call them anarchists.
Anarchy guy. I'm a kind of anarchy guy, you know.
I'm an anarchy guy.
Yeah.
He started. He was throwing people because he's got this move called martial throw,
yeah,
where basically you throw somebody and then their initiative changes. They can't act until after you next round.
That's
even,
right.
even
Yeah,
if they were before you previously. And he was chucking people left,
He was
right,
a mean
and
mother chucker, wasn't he?
was.
Everyone else bailed, and it was just him in the coffee shop launching like policeman after policeman with this martial throw.
Pretty much all of them.
Yep.
And then Riz, one of the other characters who wasn't there at the beginning of this, turned up and just sees this gunfight happening.
He was on his lunch break.
He was on his lunch break. He throws a ham sandwich at one of the policemen.
His squidged to his visor.
Yeah. It was crazy, but this whole gunfight ensued and everyone was completely battered.
Oh,
now,
man.
This is one of the interesting things about Bubblegum Crisis is the way healing works, right? So you can heal stun damage by resting. That makes sense, because all you've done is you've taken a blow to the head or you've got a few bruises and things like this. But you can't heal bullet wounds or stab wounds or anything like that by anything other than surgery. If you take hit point damage, you need to go to the hospital and you have to spend a day in hospital
and 30,000 yen
and 30,000 yen for a day in hospital. So that is the equivalent in any other game would be 300 gold pieces.
It's not just that,
or $300.
And it's not your full hit points that you restore. You will restore
an amount
that's predetermined.
To your, it's equal to your recovery score. So the point is that if you've got a low constitution, that means that a day in hospital isn't going to do you much.
But James gets 3 points.
Yeah, because the idea is that his body's not actually that good at recovering itself.
Yeah.
So a day in hospital realistically only gives him 3 hit points back. So he might have taken 18 damage during that fight and only get 3 hit points back by missing out on a whole day of gameplay. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But it kind of makes sense because a day is what it takes because you've just had surgery and have to rest up in the bed for the rest of the day. And then the 30,000 yen is a reasonable price for that. I'd say it's even on the low side for taking bullets out and then stitching up. And then,
especially when it's this kind of dystopian future where, you know, your healthcare would cost a lot.
Considering how expensive everything else is.
Exactly.
I mean,
so it makes sense, doesn't it?
And but then you've got a tough guy like Gerard who his recovery score is much higher because he's built like a brick shit house.
Exactly.
He recovers 18 hit points for every day.
He's built to recover.
So that was what was quite interesting because everyone was so unbelievably battered that when it finally came to getting on the highway and getting this car back, James's character Chad,
he didn't come.
He couldn't come.
He couldn't come. He had 1 hit point.
He literally
it wasn't
just
worth coming because he would die.
Exactly.
We'd go over 1 speed bump. He'd bounce up and down in the back of the lorry, and that'd be him gone.
Yeah. So I mean. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, they chased this car down and they realised that it was this guy has basically made this amazing, gigantic, like beast of a monster
Like a
car.
Frankenstein boomer, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's called the Cyber Monster Griffin in the book. So it was amazing. Yeah, he's made this Frankenstein car by melting down parts of boomers and making it into this car. And he was using like some sort of like mind link headset to drive it so that he could have better reaction times and things like this. And it kind of went wrong and started possessing him, and then the car turned on you because it still had some of the sentience from when it was a robot. Like the robot parts started
fighting back against the driver. It lost control. Started like it was crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah,
this like cybernetic helmet on that was attached to the car. So it was weird.
And your truck got destroyed.
Oh man.
And his girlfriend was in the passenger seat as well, and
we rescued her. Luckily,
we rescued her, but he died because he was trying to open fire on you guys, and you had to kill
his head off.
Your boss died, and now you've got the car back to your garage. But like that's basically where we left it. It was pretty amazing.
It was really, really, really good. We got So we've actually we lost the truck, but got the car. And lost our boss, unfortunately, which was really sad.
But like you said, the game is brutal. But I'd say it's realistic. More
I like it.
It goes for a realistic in terms of damage, and I quite like that.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying
it. It's damage, man.
Yes,
you know what I mean. It's good. It's a very good game. I'm
enjoying the hell out of it.
Yeah, me too.
David, you're in a rocky cavern. You're standing on the edge of a chasm, right? So don't move.
Okay, so next up is Gen Lab Alpha.
Yeah, we had a double whammy this week, didn't we?
Yeah. So we've been playing. We're doing 2 campaigns at the moment. Nick's running one of Gen Lab Alpha.
Yep.
Nick.
Yeah, so
it's bloody good, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it, mate. Really, really enjoying it. The guys are getting to play like mutated animals. They've joined the resistance now. They're fighting back against their robot captors. So the whole premise of episode 2 was that they had to hatch their plan to break into the dog territory called the Den and steal an EMP rifle. Oh yeah. And so they had to hatch a plan to do it, and they decided that, well, first of all, we've got to go for the prisoner go, wasn't you?
Yeah, we were going to try and get one of our dog, well, not friends, but this dog that we know to take us in there and sort of get him to pretend that we
had been being naughty and they were being turned into the Watchers.
But then we found out that there was a market in there that's open during the day, so that we knew that we could just get inside the walls just by strolling in there.
Yep.
So that's what we did. And we basically got in.
Was that for you? Because you knew that all weapons have to be checked in at the gate, so you took all the weapons and went round the back and then leaped over once everybody else who didn't have any weapons could walk in completely legally and not raise any kind of attention to them or whatever.
We agreed on like a point at the wall where we would meet.
But the best bit was...
the best thing was we sort of said, all right, so what we'll do is we'll agree on a point at the wall where we should meet, and then we'll give a signal, and then I'll leap over using my frog jump ability, right?
Yeah.
And then when we both got to the wall, right, we were both in position, no guards are about, and then Nick was like, right, you're going to give the signal. And then James and I realised that we hadn't actually agreed on a signal. And so James was like,
You had to roll to see if you would distinguish it.
Yeah, I had to roll something.
Well.
Yeah, and I knew it was his signal.
Yeah.
And then I went back, and then
he leaped over with the weapons.
Get everyone their weapons.
Yep.
And we hid them all down our trousers and stuff like this, and
then they charmed their way into the scrap shack by you scavenged a nice piece of metal, didn't you? And their guards were like, "Yeah, I didn't go in."
Yeah, because this guy was after scrap, so I got him a nice piece of metal, and it was like the blade of an old sword, wasn't it?
Yeah. And
I gave it to him, and when we got inside, we tried to smooth talk him into working for him. Thinking
that was it. Yeah.
We were thinking like, well, maybe this if we knew the EMP rifle was somewhere in his hut, right? But so we thought if we work for him, gain his trust, eventually we'll get close enough to him that we can get the EMP rifle and we'll get into his inner circle, and then maybe he'll show it to us one day and we'll let him in. And then we just went, fuck that, let's chuck hot coffee in his face and then kill him.
Let's go for it.
Yeah, so because it was like, well, we could do this, but this will take literally weeks of gameplay. Yeah. So we were just like, let's kill him. We didn't have any guns because you don't really have guns in general.
No.
So the point is we did kill him semi-quietly. It was only over in a couple of rounds. Maybe like one round of combat.
Done really well, actually. It was an incredible shot between the eyes. Knocked him out straight away with a sling, wasn't it?
Slingshot, yeah. And then James killed his guard because he only had one guard inside. So he'd already bypassed all the outside guards. So then all James had to do was lop off the guard's head with a machete. And then that was pretty much
He
it.
jumped out the back window, broke the window open, and managed to sneak out the back. Well, all of you bar, unfortunately, your dog friend. He got caught on the escape.
Fuck him.
But yeah, they weren't too fussed about that. So yeah, they luckily they got out. They was able to get out. Because you jumped over, right?
Yeah, I jumped over and then James
Walked out.
clomb over.
Clomb over. Yeah, he clomb over fence.
Yeah.
And away they went. Yeah, and that's pretty much. You met a couple of other resistance members that were keeping an eye on you to make sure the plan went to plan.
And now we're just walking back.
And now you're on your way back to the helicopter to give the leader his EMP rifle.
We did kind of want to like end that episode of the campaign on a note where we'd get back to Wildpaw, our bear boss, and give him the EMP, but we couldn't because we were so shit at traversing our way back that Nick was like, right, let's conclude this, man. Give me one more roll and we'll see how it goes. And then it was just like, you roll terribly. He's like, come on guys, give me one more roll. Let's see if you can do it.
Let's get back to the helicopter.
Yeah, well we don't.
Right, sit down, have a sleep.
And then we were just like, okay, well we might as well end it there. See you later.
Yeah.
So far, I'm really enjoying Gen Lab. I genuinely think it's very good. The dice system is extremely intuitive. I like the way that you have different dice for skills, attributes, and gear.
Yep.
And then you sort of add them together, and you have to keep an eye on the different ones. We're going to get more into that when we do sort of a Gen Lab episode.
Yeah.
But you kind of have to have different coloured D6 for each thing.
That's
which
right. Yep.
brings us very nicely to our next point on the list that you bought.
I've actually got the official dice.
You sick motherfucker.
Yeah, I thought I'd get a couple of packs so I could
May I
throw.
have a look?
Yeah, of course you can. So I could throw one set out to the table, and then I'll have another set behind my my DM screen.
You genius.
Yeah, but they're really nice actually. They're
So it comes with 5 yellow base dice, 5 green skill dice, and 5 black gear dice.
That's the one, yep. And the difference is, so on your base dice, there's the one is a different symbol, and it means something if you push a roll and then get them. And then also same with your gear dice, the one on the gear dice like a little explosion. And again, if you get one of them on a gear, when rolling gear, your gear can take damage. So it's pretty cool. And for like yellow, black, and green. So yeah, perfect for the game, obviously. And I thought I'd.
Yeah, so these are labelled as Mutant Year Zero dice, but these are for use with Mutant Year Zero, Mutant Megatron, Gen Lab, and Tales from the Loop.
Tales from the Loop as well, exactly.
So these are really, really handy. I mean, the thing is, you can keep an eye on it and know it yourself.
Yeah, you can. You don't have to have. That's the beauty of this game. You don't have to have the special dice to play the game, but it is a little bit more that you do have to be a little bit more conscious of what dice you're rolling.
I don't have a problem with remembering it. For example, I know that you have to look out for ones on your gear dice because it can take damage, and I know that you have to look out for ones on attributes because that's when crit fails come into it. It's not that hard because I just know to look out for ones on blues and I use greens for gear. So I know to look out for it. But I know that there's some players that are different that just like to sit down and just be told what to roll. And they might not like to put the extra effort in. We have one player in particular in our group that we know doesn't listen to this podcast. So Ryan, basically, we knew that he was going to be a problem. So we
got some dice.
So Nick was literally just like, well, I'll get these dice because it'll make it easier. But no, it's not a problem because a lot of people they don't like to think about it. They just like to sit down and roleplay.
Experience, exactly.
And so I think these are...
If I can make it a bit easier for him as well and he doesn't have to stress out.
These are really cool. How much were these?
So it's £15, but then I don't think that's that bad because you're getting 15 dice.
So it's £1 of dice.
So basically £1 of dice.
And they're like really nice ones.
I think they're pretty decent, yeah.
So the yellow ones are...
Skill.
Those are base dice, yeah. So
base dice, yeah.
So those are attributes.
Okay,
right. Yeah, these are cool, man. They've got little biohazard symbols on them.
Yep.
Very nice.
Cool, thanks, mate.
And
so we'll report next time on how the dice went down.
Next up, I want to talk very quickly about. I went to ShakeCon.
Yes,
which was the Savage Worlds UK convention. Nick was going to come with us, but unfortunately couldn't make it in the end. So. I went up there with Manuel, Sams, and Peter Beckett.
Petey B, yeah.
Petey B, the man with the D. So it was wicked. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I will say go and listen to The Wild Die because I made sort of an audio documentary on it. Good. And I would say go and listen to that because we go into much more detail on like each setting that we played. Yep. It was a Savage Worlds convention, and I would say that out of all of the games that I played there, the ones that I enjoyed the most were... Well, we played 5 games.
5. Done well.
So we played Solomon Kane, and we followed that up with some Lost World, which is like explorers with dinosaurs and shit like this.
Excellent.
Then Gobbo Pirates, which is Goblin Pirates. Then we played Slipstream, but we played specifically Flash Gordon game using Slipstream. And then we ended it with some ETU, which is East Texas University. And out of all of it, I have to say that the one that stuck with me and I was enamoured with the most was Gobbo Pirates. That was a custom game that somebody had made. Second comes Solomon Kane, so I've ordered the book for that.
Like, so much you bought it. So Pete, I understand.
Yeah, we went halves on it, so we're sort of sharing the book. So that's on its way, although it should have arrived yesterday, so I'm a bit worried about that.
Ooh.
Yeah, so ShakeOn, it was a fucking awesome convention, and I would recommend anyone go to it next year when it's on, and go and listen to that episode of the Wild Die podcast. I'll put a link in the description. So yeah, check it.
Check it out, mate.
Check it, lest you wreck it.
Yeah.
So additionally, I bought Dungeon Crawl Classics.
Oh boy.
Now get ready, because look at the size of this fucking thing.
Oh my god. That's the biggest book I've ever seen.
It's ludicrous.
That's bigger than the 20th edition, 20th anniversary Deadlands book. That's huge.
It's the biggest RPG book I own.
Yeah, that is absolutely massive.
So, yeah, it's nice. The artwork's fantastic. I will say one thing about it that I was a little bit disappointed about, right? If you read the quick start rules and you read the rules on the website and the descriptions, the way they describe it is they describe it as AD&D with the bullshit stripped out.
Okay.
I don't think that's entirely true. It is a crunchy game. A lot of simplicity in the way that you play it. Like, for example, combat's quite easy to do, to wrap your head around. Creating a character is unbelievably simple. Things like this. But there's little things in it that make it more complicated. There's tables for loads of things. For example, every time you use a spell, you roll on a table.
Right.
So
magical backlash or something.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it might do also magical back good.
Back good, yes.
So, like, it has loads of different effects. Every single spell has loads of different effects, but it means that you need to print out a bunch of shit every time you want to play a wizard.
Yeah.
Which makes it a great game. But I was thinking, like, this would be really great for, you know...
The art's incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
But really I was thinking this might be good for, like, one-shots and things like this, but I'm starting to think maybe not. But if you want a preparation light game, I don't know if this is it.
Okay.
Because
we'll
I think you need...
week,
exactly. Well, yeah, we're playing it next week, so... I think that you need to do printouts and things like this for wizards, or at least everyone needs to own a copy of the book if you want to avoid that.
I think I'll just go out and get a copy.
I think it's worth it. Do you know how much I paid for that?
Oh, it's Goodman Games.
Yeah, Goodman Games, who are a really cool company.
Yeah.
That was only £25, and
really?
the amount that you get for it is ridiculous.
It's brand new as well, isn't it?
And I've got here the adventure that we're playing next week.
And it's got 2 ribbons in it.
2 ribbons, mate.
Now that it may not seem like a lot, but I really like that.
So here's the adventure we're playing next week. That is Intrigue at the Court of Chaos, which is a level 1 adventure that takes place on a cosmic scale.
Look at old mate here with hands for a face.
He's got hands for a face. So yeah, Intrigue at the Court of
and
Chaos.
no hands, that's ironic.
Yeah. So yeah, a Dungeon Crawl Classics Intrigue at the Court of Chaos. I recommend everyone go and check that out, because
the art alone is just brilliant.
in this game, you basically it says that you don't have to wait till getting to 20th level to do things on a cosmic scale, and so this is a first level adventure that ramps it up really quickly.
Nice.
So yeah, it's brilliant. It looks really good and it looks really fun, and I'm looking forward to playing it. It's just that it's a bit more crunchy than they sort of make it seem on the website,
but still less crunchy than AD&D.
Exactly. So I am looking forward to playing it.
I noticed that art straight away. They look like good. We're from the How to Write adventure book.
Exactly.
Awesome, mate. Very, very nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Go out and check that out. It looks great.
Beyond the Mountains of Madness.
Wow, yeah, another. Look at the size of this.
That's another stonkingly massive adventure.
And it's in very good condition.
Considering the only other copy I've ever seen of this looked like somebody had wiped their arse with it.
Really?
I mean, don't you remember the guy at the local unnamed game store that we We went down there once. So Nick and I have mentioned this on the podcast before. Our local game store, they're very rude and they're elitist. Their customer service is terrible. We once went in there and we were just saying that we were about to play a Call of Cthulhu game, and he showed us Beyond the Mountains of Madness.
The only one in the country.
He was like, "You can't find this for love nor money," and we were like, "Is it for sale?" And he's like, "No." And we're like, "Well, why are you showing us?" So I've got one actually, mate, and I got it for 20 quid. So
And
fuck
it's in
you.
better condition than yours.
I win.
Oh my!
I win at Cthulhu.
I went 437 pages.
That's one. Yeah, it's a campaign, and it's split up into chapters. So yeah, I don't know why Savage Worlds thinks that plot point campaigns are their idea, but there you go. So yeah, it looks really cool. Beyond the Mountains of Madness.
Yes, mate. It's amazing.
It does look very, very good. So
I like it.
well done. I got that off the Facebook group. The guy who sold this, actually, he did know what he was selling.
Right.
He did say that he knows it's valuable and he knows that he's selling it for a bargain basement price. But the point that he made was that he was trying to fix his car and he needed the money really quickly. And he knew that if he sold it for 20 quid, it would go like that. So, he was right, because as soon as I saw it, I was like, yes, please.
Yep.
So yeah,
Wow.
that's an amazing little relic.
What
That's
a
an
find.
absolute classic of
Yeah,
an
it is.
adventure.
It's amazing. Wicked.
And the last thing what we wanted to slay was Nick from the Wild
I
Die.
slayed myself. Yeah, so... I don't say really.
Well, we don't need to go into details, but basically, as people have been asking me if we're doing Tabletop Twats anymore, because Nick has left the Wild Die podcast.
Sadly have, yes.
The answer is no, we're not doing Tabletop Twats anymore.
Shut up.
Well, no, we are.
Of course we are.
As evidenced by the fact that you're listening to us now.
Yeah, of course. No, it was, I have left the Wild Die, unfortunately. I think I bit a little bit more off than I could chew from the RPG world. As much as I loved it, I didn't want to, but I couldn't commit to it as much as I wanted to, and I did not want to let the show suffer. So it's completely amiable, and I didn't. I didn't want the Wild Die because I love it to bits. So obviously I didn't want to. But yeah, I just didn't want the podcast to suffer because I do love it, and I would rather have given the opportunity to someone else. So yeah, so it's all good.
It's all good, and this podcast is continuing.
Absolutely.
So to all the people that keep messaging me asking if we're continuing, yes.
Of course we are.
All right, and that's why we're starting a new website called Is Tabletop Twats Continuing, and it's just going to have the word yes on it.
Yeah, exactly. So no, it's fine.
If that ever changes, just keep checking that website. If that changes to no, then you'll know.
Then you can send us a message.
Yeah.
But no, I wish the Wild Die all the luck in the world, and I'm obviously still be an avid listener.
Thanks, mate.
That's all right, buddy. And good luck to Manuel as well.
Yes, he's a new host on
Yep, and well deserved. Absolutely. So yeah.
Thanks, mate. All right, let's get on with the main subject because we've got a doozy for you this time, listeners.
Yes, we have.
Main subject. Main subject. Main subject.
Sewer surfing.
Wise man say forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late pizza. Cowabunga dudes.
Cowabunga dudes.
You know what we're talking about today. Oh yeah.
It's holy guacamole.
It is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Other Strangeness, and this comes from Palladium RPG. Be very careful with that book, Nick.
I am.
It was in a plastic wrap. He's taken it out. So there is a very, very specific reason that we're talking about this today, and it is an absolute corker of a reason, right? And that we're going to get to right at the end, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to save the best bit about this book for last. And there is a reason for that. But this is a very strange one, right? Because you I don't know if you ever thought about doing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles RPG or whatever.
I can't say it's crossed my mind, but...
exactly. And not to mention the fact that it's weird that like... Palladium, of all people, got the license for this because they were known for doing mostly bad RPGs. I don't know if at the time it was...
What else are they accredited to, Palladium?
Original Rifts.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And of course, a lot of people didn't like that system. So I don't know. But let's get into it because this is a very interesting little relic, this one, and I'm hoping that you guys will find it as interesting as I do. But yeah. So, at the start of this game, it basically says that it's an expansion to another Palladium product called Heroes Unlimited.
Heroes Unlimited?
Yeah. And that's basically another superhero game that they made.
Okay.
So it says that this is kind of an expansion to that, right? So you can use this to expand on that and make basically anthropomorphic animal heroes to use along with the Heroes Unlimited characters.
Okay.
But one of the first things I noticed, right, is the introduction to this. So there's a bit, like in every RPG, there's like a big introduction.
What is role playing?
Yeah, like that kind of
That
thing.
kind of bit, yeah.
But in this, it's just a bunch of explanations, like about how anthropomorphic animal fighting is an original, about how you don't need Heroes Unlimited to play this, but you should probably have it. And then it says how the species section, right? And then it says how in the species section, he tried to list every animal known to man, but then he says this. Yes, I know that it's incomplete, but do you have any idea how many animals there are in the world? How many birds? We're talking about 750 species in North America alone. You can imagine
Just a rant.
I reckon that he started the book, like the first thing he did, he started off and he's like, right, let's list all the species. Right, number 1, aardvark. Number 2, anteater. And he's just like, oh god, no, there's way more animals than I thought. I thought there was going to be about 20.
By the time you got to D, he was like, no!
He got to birds, and he was like, oh my god, there's 750.
No one's going to publish this. I like his little rant at the end, though. It's almost like he did get to that point. It was like, nope, too many animals.
He's like, right, okay, I've done A. It took me 6 months, but I've done A. Right, B, birds. Fuck, there's 750. Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, like my thought as well was like, shouldn't the introduction section be about like what the game's about?
Not what... A bird. It can fly.
Yeah, but instead it's just him sort of making excuses for why he hasn't done
Done the research, basically, let's be honest. Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, there's, as usual, right, there's that bit like that explains what role-playing game is, right? But there's a quote, right, that I really like. So it says, imagine the setting. At the front of the room, there is a mad-looking figure, half man, half bat.
It's Batman.
That's him. It looks around suspiciously. At its feet, there are 2 very frightened people, both in stained blue work clothing. The bat thing points a large pistol at the people and screams in a hoarse voice, "Where is money?"
Where is money?
And there's a spelling error as well. It points a large pistol and the people.
And the people.
That is copy pasted from the book,
man.
so that's not me making a spelling error.
A large pistol and the people. And screams in a hoarse voice, "Where is money?
Where is money?
Anyway, without any explanation of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles world or what sort of games you'll be playing, you're chucked right into character creation.
Okay.
So imagine if you were just playing like with your regular group of people and you weren't a TMNT fan and you just sat down and he said, read this, right, make a character. You're like, but I don't have any idea about this world. What, you just want me to just play
an animal?
Yeah, and it's like it gives you no explanation as to sort of like the sort of adventures you'll be playing, what sort of characters this world has in it,
what the weather's like. Nothing,
like literally nothing. It just goes,
if the buses run on time. Jesus,
it literally just says like that. It gives you that half man half bat explanation thing, and then it just goes, right, now make a character. It's like, what the fuck? All right, yeah, okay. Animal characters, it says in big bold letters, and then it says animal hero characters are the results of mutation or some other change that results in normal animal becoming either more intelligent, more human-like, or superpowered.
Okay.
Right, and the way it's written, right, because it's got that heading of animal characters, then that explanation, it feels like that's the section for like animal characters, and then later on it'll go on to about human characters.
Yeah.
But no, it's just...
That's your lot.
Yeah, that's your lot. So I think that they were planning to have
more,
but they just he just started on A, animal characters, and then he got to B, and he was going to be like, I don't know,
Birdmen.
Yeah, I don't know. And then, but it was like, yeah, it seems like something was left out because you could only be animal characters. Because obviously in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles universe,
you've got April O'Neil. Shredder, he's human.
Is he? Yes, guess he is.
I think so, yeah.
But whatever. The point is, yeah, you've got human characters. So I think they were going to include animal and human characters, but only ended up including animal ones. Yeah. So, but then why would you want to be human? Why would you?
Let's be honest, yeah.
So let me see here. Anyway, so you play as animals that mutate and become more anthropomorphic.
So does that happen, like, is that part of the game, or has that already happened when you start?
When you start your character creation, you're already mutated a bit, right?
Okay, right.
But we'll get into that. So yeah, they become more anthropomorphic. So this can mean like the turtles, right? You stand on two legs and you look like a massive turtle, or it can mean that you're so mutated that you look almost human. Cool. So first off, you roll your attributes, and like this is like the usual shit, but they've given it dumb names to appear different, right? So you've got, instead of intelligence, you've got intelligent quotient. And instead of and then you've got like mental affinity instead of charisma or personality. And then you determine your hit points, and now it's time to determine what type of animal you are, which is determined randomly. But you don't have to do that. It does, to be fair to the book, it does say that you can pick, but it said this should only be done for experienced players.
Right, okay.
But you definitely shouldn't let your players pick, and there's a reason for that, and I'll get into that later. But yeah, so you roll to determine first your animal category. Now these are things like urban, rural, wild birds, or zoo.
Urban, what's it got, like an accent?
Yeah, blood.
Oi, blood. I'm an urban animal, innit, blood?
Rural's like, alright.
It's the same 5 animals, but it's just
got different accents.
Yeah, it's like urban dog's like, yo, I'm a dog blood, and then rural dog's like, hello, I'm a dog blood,
and then wild's like,
So then, then you roll on a specific table to determine which animal. So for urban, you have things like dog, cat, or mouse, and then rural, you have goat, turkey, or bat, and then for zoo, you have things like chimpanzee, elephant, or leopard. Okay. And then you roll to determine what caused you to mutate into your more human form. So it can be one of 3 things.
Bad mode.
Bad mood, bit of dodgy cheese. So you can have things. So either it's random, so like Splinter from the cartoons, he just happened to turn out that way, and nobody knows why. You can have an accidental mutation, so you came into contact with some strange stuff.
Drain, classic.
Yeah, so that's like the turtles themselves. Or deliberate, so you were experimented on in
real life and becoming a minimum.
Exactly.
Yeah,
in a lab.
Gotcha. In the lab, yeah.
So then you determine how many biological energy points you have. So this depends on which animal you get. Okay. So different animals have different bioenergy points. So the bigger the animal, the fewer you have. Simple.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of like a balancing method. So if you pick an elephant, you're pretty much, I think you start with 0.
Okay.
So you're pretty kind of fucked if you get that. So these the biological energy points can be used to either make yourself bigger or develop more human characteristics. This can be anything from being able to speak or having proper hands to having an upright bipedal stance.
Just like proper hands, like a proper boy.
You know the best thing about it is that the birds can do that too. But
bird hands.
You just have hands on the end of your wings.
So you can fly past someone, just give them a slap as you go past.
Take that!
I thought you was going to say have hands for feet, and it's just like, nice to meet you.
I think you can do that too. That's the cool thing about it. It's pretty ridiculous. So
I don't know if I want to play this game or throw it in the bin at the moment, but I'm interested, that's for sure.
I couldn't agree more. I think it's amusing, but I think it's basically unplayable.
Right.
So next you pick your alignment. Now, with this bit, they've gone to a bit of effort here.
Nice.
So instead of the usual D&D affair with lawful, chaotic, neutral, good, evil, etc., you have evil alignments, right? So you've got evil alignments, good alignments, and selfish alignments, and then there's subcategories within them. So, for example, within good, you have principled good, who always stick to the law, and then principled scrupulous, who won't mind breaking the law if it's within their own moral code. And then when they're evil ones, you have evil diabolic, or evil miscreant, who will use the law to... Hang on, they have just renamed the D&D
alignments. I was just about to say, have they just literally pumped all the D&D names into a thesaurus, and it's just like, try deviant.
Yeah, that was literally the joke I was going for there. Yeah, they've renamed all the D&D alignments to something else, and tried to pretend like they've... Yeah. It's exactly the fucking same.
Yeah. And these sound more silly. I like scrupulous. Oh, he's a bit scrupulous, that one.
Yeah, and there's fucking, what is it? Evil diabolic. Or evil
diabolic.
Miscreant. Yeah. So if somebody's evil, you don't describe them as a miscreant.
He's a rascal.
Oh, he's a miscreant. Yeah. Then you've got the skills, right? Right. I've got to say, not a single standout, decent skill here.
Not a
Nothing
one.
worth mentioning.
Not a one.
Not a single one. In a game where you play mutated animals, not a
one
single
skill.
No,
That's
none.
decent. Oh my god.
But now we're moving on to the animal powers.
Right.
And psionics, right? So these are kind of like superpowers.
Yep.
So you can use these as often as you like and don't ever need to spend resource or power points to use them, right? But you do, however, need to spend the bioenergy points that you got at the beginning of the game to use them, right? So, to buy them, to like have them as your powers.
Okay.
So whenever you use one, you basically roll to use it, and the defending character will try to save against it. So it's just basically like a skill. You can use it anytime you want. Some examples of these are in the psionics section. For example, you have animal control, where it allows you to control creatures of your own kind. So don't pick that if you're a zoo animal, because it's not going to come up that often.
Oh, there's another elephant.
Yeah, because typically
It's an urban elephant.
yeah,
It's got a
typically
little hat on and that.
Exactly. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles typically takes place in a city. Unless you're playing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game set in Africa, that's not going to come up that often. So, yeah. And then there's another one, biomanipulation. This comes in 7 forms. So you have blind, deafen, mute, pain and paralysis, stun, tissue manipulation.
Ooh.
That's pretty cool, but you have to pick one of those. And then there's hypnotic suggestion, that does what it says on the tin. As for the animal powers, you can't buy these, right? So you have things like antlers, claws, digging, extra limbs, and flight. When I saw this at first, I thought you could buy these using bio points, right? And I got really excited because I was like, fuck yeah, I would love to be an elephant with antlers.
Yeah, you know.
That would be sick. And I was trying to look for a cost. I was like,
A bird that could dig, so you'd just be like, fly down and just dig into the ground.
yeah, fuck that, or a
That'd be
flying
cool.
badger.
Yeah, exactly.
But unfortunately, no, you can't buy these. It's just an explanation. Certain animals have these, and so, for example, pigeon would have flight, or a tiger would have claws.
Pigeon might have head butt.
That's not one of the ones,
That's
but
the way it walks, isn't it?
yeah,
It's always looking like it wants to start a fight with someone.
yeah,
Do you think they'd be really rowdy pigeons? All right, fella.
I think so.
Look at me,
Well,
funny.
they come from the city as well, don't
Yeah,
they?
they're all geezers, isn't they?
Who do you think you're looking at?
You little.
Basically, each animal has a preset bunch of animal
Right,
powers.
okay.
So, following this section, you have a list of all the animals, what features they start with, and how. Well, not all the animals. We figured that out earlier. What features they start with, and then how many points you need to spend to like upgrade them to other features. For example, with the aardvark, and yes, I went for literally the first animal in the book. He starts with claws and tunneling, and you can spend 5 bioenergy to upgrade its ears to large, or you could spend 10 bioenergy to upgrade his hands to proper hands so that it can hold a gun.
Proper. You want to get yourself some proper hands, mate. Hold a gun.
Yeah, fucking silly aardvark. It's 4 feet in length unless you upgrade it, and it can be found in southern Africa, so it would be a zoo animal.
Right,
So
gotcha.
that's sort of like the basic description of an animal, right?
Yep.
And that's how it looks. Now, looking through this bit, I found a way to break the game immediately, right?
Okay.
Because if your DM lets you pick your animal, pick a pigeon.
Go on.
They're the best animal in the game, hands down.
No
right?
way.
They start with 70 bioenergy, right? Which is ridiculous.
So they are mouthy as hell.
Because they're small.
Yeah.
Because they're small, they start with a ridiculous amount of bioenergy. But do not upgrade your size. Even though the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are big, right? Don't do that. Don't do what they do in the cartoon. Stay as a small pigeon because you'll be harder to hit, right? So then you spend 20 bioenergy to upgrade to full human hands at the end of the wings, right?
Yes.
Get two guns and dual wield them. Buy the hypnotic suggestion psionic power or the paralysis one, right? And then max out firearms. Max out firearms, fly in and to any situation, hypnotize or paralyze everyone you can, and shoot anyone that remains. Put no points in size, so you'll be impossible to hit, as I said. Lastly, you're going to want to put some points in interrogation to progress the story, but that's not entirely necessary. So basically,
the pigeon of death.
So basically, you get in, kill everyone, get what you need, fly out.
Fly out of there.
So that's
Never
it.
get shot.
That's how to min-max TMNT. Pick pigeon.
Pigeon with hands, mate. If I saw a pigeon with hands flying towards me, dual wielding, I would shit myself.
You know, an alternative build would be pigeon with hands, hypnotic suggestion, and max out sneak. Because the thing is, you can fly as well, so you're basically invulnerable.
Oh, man.
Anybody that tries to fuck with you just fly away. It's ridiculous.
How angry would a GM get as well? If, like, say, you know, you knew this trick from us, and you go and play Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and they're like, "What are you playing then?" It's like Pigeon, and everyone just laughs at the table. It's like, we'll see who's laughing later.
Yeah, and you're like, do you want to upgrade your size? Like, everyone's going for the TMNT
I want to be
build.
massive.
Yeah, and you're just like, no, I want to stay
I'm fine.
pigeon-sized.
I like my little pigeon size. Yeah.
With his massive hands at the end of his wings.
Just like that. Yeah, flipping everyone off.
Flipping the bird.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm flipping the pigeon. So, yeah, that's basically my little guide for you there.
Brilliant.
So, yeah. After this, you have a short comic by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, who actually created TMNT.
That's pretty cool.
And it's pretty decent, right?
Yeah.
The artwork is great. It's funny in that silly, childish way. And the panels of the comic continue throughout the rest of the combat section of the book. And I really wish they'd done this for the rest of the book, because actually, it's really quite decent, and the
that's a nice format as well, isn't it?
Exactly, and it gives it that comic book feel. Seeing as this is a game based on a comic book, why not do that throughout the whole comic? But there you go.
Absolutely.
The funny thing about the comic is it's called "Don't Judge a Book." That's the title of the comic, and I feel as if there's like it's like a message about this book. Like,
Don't
as if they're
judge
saying,
it.
Look, yeah, we know it's shit, but come on.
We've got a nice comic in the middle.
Yeah, don't judge a book, mate.
By its comic strip.
I think it's like foreshadowing, because basically the Palladium RPG system is known for being like really mechanically awful.
Right.
And we're just about to get into the mechanics. But basically for combat, an attacker rolls a d20 to hit. If you get lucky and roll a 4, you can hit the opponent directly, but lower than that, you miss. But if you roll above a 4, but lower than their armour, you only damage the opponent's armour.
Okay.
If the hit is a success, the defender may then choose to parry, dodge, or entangle. Dodge is self-explanatory. Entangle means you pin the attacker's sword arm, basically. If someone is parried, they will lose their next melee attack.
Okay.
Now, I found that pretty funny, right? Because all it says in the book is they'll lose their next melee attack, but it doesn't say how long that lasts.
Or when.
So does that mean that, like, 2 hours later after combat, you go to melee attack somebody and go, oh.
You just can't move your hand.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on here?
Damn it, I got parried 2 hours earlier and now I've lost my next melee attack.
I've lost my next melee. Yeah, you might have like 2 sessions of chatting and all of a sudden there's a really important scene and you go to like strike someone down. It's like, damn it, it's my next melee attack.
It was that random thug earlier that parried me.
Oh.
Yeah, so if the strike's not parried, entangled, or dodged, or river danced, then you get to roll damage. And that's about it. It's mildly crunchy, but it's not actually that bad. I think it's alright. The weapons are pretty cool. They're, as with the TMNT series, they're all Eastern inspired. There's everything here in the kitchen sink. Ancient ninja and samurai weaponry and equipment, modern guns, spy equipment, computers. And then you've got the GM section. It's got some adventures in there. For example, there's one called the Terror Bears.
Oh dear.
It's about a group of psionic bears that have taken over a house in a neighbourhood and have hypnotised their neighbours to think that there are, in fact, no bears living there.
Of course.
And they're nicking people's clothes and food and things like that. And then of course, they're like hard.
You a bear? No. Oh, okay.
And so, like, you'll go there and interrogate people and be like, we've heard about bear attacks here. And then there's just like this really scraggly house, and all the people are like, no, there's no bears here.
No bears here. And then there's a bear like in human clothes going, definitely no bears
They actually
here.
are wearing human clothes, like stretched over their massive bear bodies. So yeah, it's actually quite an inventive little adventure. I quite liked it.
Yeah, that's all right.
Fun. But then it ends with the origin story about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
All in all, that is pretty much the end of the book, and I'm going to get into the big fuck off reason why I bought this book now. See, this is going to blow your minds, ladies and gentlemen, because there is a section of this book, right? Now, let's talk about print history real quickly. Now, this is I'm going to try for this not to be boring, but there are 3 versions of this book. One version of this book, the first printing, is worth quite a lot of money.
Yep.
So this will generally go for about £200 to £400, depending on who's buying it, right? And the reason is that there was an error in the printing. There was something left in the book that they sort of an oversight, should we call it?
They probably shouldn't have left it there.
They probably shouldn't have left it there. And all the books were recalled, and that was quickly edited out. Now, there was a second printing where they put an ultra highly glued sticker in there
over the thing they probably shouldn't have left in
exactly
there. Exactly,
and you can't. It's very, very difficult to peel off. I don't think it's even possible.
The page, isn't
exactly.
it? Yeah.
So that was this. It's not really the second printing, but that's the other version that you can get. You can get the one with the sticker, and then the second printing is the one that just doesn't include that section entirely.
Yeah, that's it.
Now, I'm just gonna read this section to you, listeners, because this is gonna blow your fucking balls off. So, in the character creation section, you can roll for sort of background things, and your character can have certain neuroses, right? So you roll on this random table, and I'm just going to read all of these to you because I think these are great. Now, this is the bit that they didn't want printed in the book. And this is the reason that this first edition copy, it can be worth at £200 to £400. So, if you roll a 1 to an 18, you might be scared of the dark. If you roll a 19 to a 34, you'll have a fear of animals. You may have... the next one is cannot tell the truth. And 50 to 64, sexual deviation. Now, the sexual deviations has its own table. And these are homosexuality, fetishism, paedophilia, transvesticism, exhibitionism, sadism, masochism, necrophilia, anti-sex, satyr, nymphomania, and voyeurism. So, yeah, that's right.
That's what you need in a kid's book, don't you?
In a kid's game, you could roll randomly to be a necrophile or a paedophile.
Or a homosexual.
Yeah, and they're
oh my god.
They're basically saying that, like here, that homosexuality is a
deviation.
Is a bad thing. It's a mutation that you.
Oh, you got the gay.
Yeah, I caught the gay in a lab. Yeah, it's pretty bad, man.
Pretty bad.
So that's awful. So yeah, that's one of the worst things ever printed in an RPG.
I can't believe that. And the best thing is though, you got it.
Yeah, I got that version of the book. So what happened is that I saw this go up for £10 on the Facebook group and quickly snapped it up because I was wondering, am I going to get that version? Am I going to get the other one? So there are copies of this floating about on the internet, like PDF copies, if you want to pirate it. And those are... You'll typically get the version that doesn't have this paragraph in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I managed to get that.
You got the recalled one. Yeah.
So, we just wanted to say that a big thank you to all the patrons for that because with the £10 that we spent on this actually came from the Patreon money because
Thank you so much,
we literally snapped it up and were like, we should totally do an episode about this because this is a really fucked up thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I couldn't find a copy anywhere on the internet that had this paragraph in full where I wanted to just double check that this is what it said because I'd heard rumours that it said that you could get the gay mutation.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that it also had paedophilia and necrophilia in there.
A full list.
So yeah, as soon as I got it back, I was just like, Jesus Christ, what were they thinking?
Oh man.
So yeah, pretty bad.
Yeah, nice
well
one, Palladium.
Done. So that's a thing that Palladium actually did. Well done, you idiots. Amazing.
Yeah.
But to conclude, I don't think I'd ever play this.
No.
I think it's... You look at the book, man, and it includes... I find it amazing that you've got this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game that includes no flavour, nothing about the world, no world maps, no...
Classic character bios.
It does have a couple, but only the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles themselves.
No Rocksteady, no Bebop.
Nope,
oh,
none of that.
No April O'Neil.
It's
Casey Jones?
Probably not.
He's on the front, but probably not in the book.
I doubt it. I mean, I should check more thoroughly. But the point is it's just got so little in there in terms of flavour and things like this, where you'd at least expect it maybe a map of... It's set in Manhattan, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Maybe something like that, where you could stick it on a table. Or the adventures are quite good, but they provide no real setting for them or anything like this. And it's just like... I don't know.
If you want to have sex with a corpse, be my guest.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and then you've got like all of these like cool mutated animals, but like most of them are so silly, it's unbelievable.
All grounded. Like you can't add anything else. So it's like, you know, like you said before, you've got these mutations, but only to set animals. So you can't have an elephant that mutates antlers. Like why?
Yeah, because you start with no bioenergy points. So you'd be an elephant, but you literally the only power that you start with that is a given, right, as a mutation is that you can understand human speech. So if you roll randomly on this table and you get elephant, well, the only thing is that you can understand human speech. So yes, you could communicate and coordinate plans, but you would never be able to speak. You wouldn't be able to do anything. You would just be an elephant. I mean, it's like
just a nodding elephant.
Yeah. So it's like, what's the point? And you could point at stuff, I guess. I mean, it really just doesn't seem like a fun game at all. As for the mechanical side of it, I didn't really see what people's problems with the Palladium RPG system is, but I imagine once I sat down and played it, it would probably come to light that it's pretty bad. I was kind of looking more at the actual flavour and what the RPG did and what it had, and it just really nothing about it shouted to me that was just like, Oh yeah, this is good. I was bored by it.
Really?
And this is
Oh,
something.
what a shame.
This is something that I loved when I was a kid.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I thought maybe
love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I had all the action figures. I mean,
and the video games.
yeah, of course.
And yet somehow I read this book and was just like, there's nothing redeemable about this.
No.
If you want to play a badger, Teenage Mutant Ninja Badger.
They got the title right though.
No,
Teenage
because
Mutant Ninja Turtles: Another Strangeness.
Yeah, but it just doesn't do anything interesting because you could play a mutated badger, but you're still just using the same old skills you've seen in every other RPG. The same old
just
abilities.
named a little bit different.
Yeah, and it's the same old shit. So realistically, there's nothing that makes this worth
There's nothing
playing.
original about it.
Don't bother tracking this game down because you could do this.
We've done it for you again, guys. It's Fate all over again.
Yeah. But you could do this in Savage Worlds or GURPS easily.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
if you want to play a decent game where you play as mutated animals, pick up Gen Lab Alpha.
Oh, God, yeah.
Because that's more easily available, it's cheaper, and it's actually decent, and the backstory for it's a lot better. So pick that up.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend that.
What do you think, Nick?
I'd like to play it for a one shot, just to say we have at one time in our life. But yeah, I'm not in a rush.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah,
I'd completely agree with that.
so maybe a drunken Christmas or something.
TMNT. I might do a one shot where everyone has to play a pigeon.
Yeah, why not?
Because otherwise, everyone's going to pick that anyway. Cause if they've heard this. So.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, no good.
Get out of here.
Get the fuck out of here.
Welcome to the Chamber of Challenges. Chamber of Challenges. The Chamber of Challenges. Chamber of Challenges. The Chamber of Challenges.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Chamber of Challenges. Now, this is where we do challenges for each other. And this week we've got quite a good one because we saw this video that's circling around on Facebook and stuff with a dad joke battle with these guys that were doing dad jokes to each other. And we're going to do something kind of similar. So if you want to keep score, Nick, every time we're basically going to do RPG dad joke battle.
Yeah.
And we're going to basically see who can make the other person laugh the most.
Okay.
So if you laugh, I get a point.
Yeah.
And if I laugh, you get a point.
Mm-hmm.
So this is how we're going to do it. And we've written a list and we've mined the internet as well. Mm-hmm. And we've got some RPG based dad jokes for each other. So shall I start?
You go first, mate.
So I was in the Shire the other day and a hobbit threw some uncooked bread at me. And I said, "Don't throw dough." Right, your turn.
That's good. Did you hear about the druid who could wield swords when using wild shape? I hear he had the right to bear arms.
Oh man, that's good. Oh, okay. I'm not going to laugh though. Why are little green dudes in dungeons often fat?
Don't know why.
Because they're always gobbling. Mine are pretty bad, I've got to be honest. Right, your turn.
Oh, okay, right. Why did the blind wizard fall down the well?
Go.
Because he couldn't see that well.
Oh. Shut up, man. That's good. That is good.
1 point to Nick.
Fuck off. Okay. How do you get a D&D player to go out with you?
I don't know.
You ask them on a D8. Alright, that's it. I get a point.
Alright, it's drawing. Okay. Whew, right, okay. Alright. Okay. Why does everybody love hit points? Because they're the life of the party.
That's a bad one. That's a bad
real
one.
bad.
A PC walks into a bar. He takes 1d4 damage. No, sorry, that's not my material.
Right, I can swallow that one. Have you heard about the thief who opened a shop? It's called Legitimately Gently Used Goods.
No. Okay, in D&D, I used to play a German wizard. Do you know what his favourite spell was?
What?
Burning hands.
It's good.
It's good. Your turn.
This might be my secret weapon. Did you hear about the beholder that opened a school?
Oh, unfortunately, I read this one earlier.
Oh, no.
Go on, tell the punchline.
It was justified, considering the amount of pupils he had.
What's the difference between a fighter and a barbarian?
What's the difference?
Classmate.
That's very good.
That's a good one, isn't it?
Oh, shit, okay. What do you call a group of musical orcs? An orchestra.
Oh, that's good. Sorry, man. So you got to wake up very early in the morning to get me.
Oh no. Go on.
What do you call a bard with no hands?
Go on.
No holds barred.
That's good. What does a paladin eat for breakfast? Oatmeal.
What? That doesn't even make sense. Oatmeal. Oh, that's nasty, man. How do you get a dwarf to climb onto a roof?
Go on.
Tell him ale is on the house.
That's good. Mind players like dwarfs the best. They tend to be beer battered.
Oh, man. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. Come on. Oh.
It's a draw still. Okay, 2 apiece.
I decided to run an RPG for a load of babies. It was a dungeon crawl.
That's good. Oh, shit. Right, okay, fine. Okay, how many songs does a bard need to get rich? 4 tunes.
I'm not sure I get that one, I'm sorry.
No, that's not very good.
Okay. Dungeon Master. There's a fork in the road. Player, I pick it up.
Okay, that's good.
That's my last one.
I've got my last one now. A party entered a dungeon where they fought kobolds, crocodiles, charl, wyverns, and naga. It was a well-scaled adventure.
Well scaled. Cringe. Okay, so who's the wiener?
You win, 3-2.
Yes. So I hope you like those dad jokes.
Because we enjoyed doing them.
Yeah. Jesus. That don't throw dough one was my
dough's
aim
really
material. I should have saved that for the end.
That's very good. That's fun.
So, right. Now, based on this, we're going to get into a competition.
It's a competition.
Haven't seen that jingle in a while.
Nope.
So, based on the fact that we've just done some dad jokes for you, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a competition. I have, in my hand, I've got 5 coupons for the Pinnacle web store here, and for £5 each. So convert that into whichever currency that you like. You know, whatever. It's up to you.
$300, isn't it?
Yes. Full disclosure, I did get given these at ShakeOn. I just have no use for them because the postage is so much on the Pinnacle website that it literally is pointless me having them. So
we'd like to give them away.
So we like to give them away. Yeah. So I've got 5. I'm just holding them up to the mic.
They're real.
There they are. So you can hear those.
I can confirm.
So I've got 5 £5 codes for the Pinnacle web store, and I'll give these to the 5 best dad jokes we received to TableTopTwats@gmail.com. 5 best dad jokes, but they have to be RPG related.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. Doesn't have to be fantasy. Just RPG. Any type of RPG.
It can be done.
Can be dice based. Can be, I don't know, whatever. But yeah, as long as there's some kind of theme to it. Yep.
Yeah. So I had a PC walks into a bar. He takes 1d4 damage. You don't have to get that sophisticated with it. But the 5 best ones will receive £5 for the Pinnacle web store to spend on anything that you want.
So heart desires. Yeah.
They make Savage Worlds and Deadlands and things like this. So so you can use that for a lot of good stuff, ladies and gentlemen.
So send them in, and we shall reveal the winner. Oh, next episode, I suppose.
Exactly. Well, next episode. And yeah, you can use that for a lot of PDF stuff.
Yeah.
If you're not in America, or if you are in America, you can pretty much use that to get yourself a whole host of cool shit. So yeah, that's the competition.
Send them in.
TableTopTwats@gmail.com.
I'm sure you can do a better job than we did.
Yeah,
Without blow us away, mate.
Unbloody doubtedly.
Yeah.
We got ideas that coming out the wazoo, so we'll talk about them now and give them to you. That's what this segment is. We come up with new games like, I don't know, The Hunger Games. People with the same name in an arena fight to the death. As ideas go, it's not one of my best. The segment's called The Game Design Guys. Best idea gets a game design prize. So, welcome to the Game Design Guys. Now, this is a sort of semi-new segment that we've got, and we're enjoying this, so we're going to do it again.
Yeah.
And basically, on this segment, we've realised that we're game design geniuses, haven't we, Nick?
Yeah,
so
we are.
What we do...
Ahead of our times.
Exactly.
Been wasted all our life, and now we've found our calling.
Exactly. Yeah. Basically, yes. So what I've done, what we do on this section is we come up with new games or new game ideas for the RPG world, and we're going to eventually publish all of these and make millions, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But we haven't got around to it.
No.
So do you want to go first this week?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll go first this week. So my RPG is called Dash F. Okay, and it's a little bit of a weird one. It's almost like an RPG meets making dinner for friends. So the idea is that you play an RPG where you are chefs, okay? Dice rolls determine what ingredients you get to start off with, and not only must you cook, you must play an RPG at the same time, and certain things will give you bonuses. So if you was to get something like the top chef's knife, you'll be able to use a real knife that's a lot better than, say, a butter knife. And as the game progresses, the cooking goes throughout the game, along with RPG and of being a chef in a busy restaurant and whatnot. And by the end of it, hopefully you get some food out of it. Whether it be nice food or not is another question, depending on how you play.
To be fair, I think you've identified a gap in the market there, because I don't think there are many cooking RPGs out there.
Really?
No, can you name any?
Well, yeah, good point.
So you basically, you have to roll randomly for what ingredients you get as well. So is this sort of based in the story? So when it starts up, it'll be like you roll
the new menu. I don't know for the restaurant. So it's the opening down the restaurant or something.
Yeah, or like maybe the truck doesn't turn up.
Yeah, and you've got to improvise with what's left in the larder. Yeah, exactly.
And so your encounters are kind of like, well, an
angry customer comes in that's got some kind of food allergy, and you're a bit stuck.
But he's like, I'm allergic to peanuts, and you're like, well, fuck, we only got delivered peanuts this morning. Exactly. So it's like, well, because you rolled badly on the table, we got peanuts, tyres, paper clips. That's all we got delivered this morning. So it's like, make something out of that this customer might like. Or you could try and risk it by going off to somewhere else and fucking nicking from the rival restaurant across the street.
Exactly that.
I think that'd be really fun.
Why not?
I'd play that. So it's called Da Chef.
Da Chef.
Do you know the weirdest thing is that I made one with a very similar name.
No way.
Yeah, mine's called Da Blob. Right? Da Blob.
Da Blob, yeah.
I think this would work best in Savage Worlds, but it could work in any game where you have a dice pool system. So this might work when a vampire as well. But Da Blob, right, is basically a game. It probably more likely a short adventure, if I'm being honest with you. But, so Da Blob, it starts off as so you have to make it quite strong to begin with, right? But every time, and I think this would work best in Savage Worlds because every time you encounter the blob, you fight it, right? Okay. It will basically eat PCs whole, and when it does, it eats their dice pools.
Oh, okay.
So then it gets stronger, and their gear, and it uses it, right? Yep. So let's say, for instance, you have a D6 in shooting. It gets a D6 in shooting. It eats another person that's got a D8 in shooting. It gets a D8 in shooting. So then the next time you encounter it, and it's got like 3 guns because it's eating 3 PCs, it uses them all at the same time, and then it also uses all those dice at the same time. So you rolls a D6, a D8, another D8 because it's just eating 3 PCs, and it shoots you with 3 guns, rolls 3 dice at the same time, and it does this with every skill and every attribute at the same time. Wow. So the blob gets bigger and stronger, and it gets better at everything. So climbing, forget about it. Everyone's got climbing, right? It's eating like full party loads of people already.
It's up the mountain before you even think about it.
And it's fucking gigantic. and you're like, look how it's the blob. So
run from the blob.
In this game, you pretty much have to play about 4 characters at the start. So you can't play one person. You've got to have a pool
of people.
Yeah.
To play this type of game.
Yeah. So, I like it. And the idea is that all you have to do is get to the helicopter to escape the city. And you have to escape with just 1 character left at the end, and then you win the game.
You beat the blob.
If you get more, then that's a better victory. So it's a replayable adventure, obviously, and hopefully I'm hoping to have different maps available for the blob and things like this, different scenarios. Yeah. So you might have the blob underground. So it's one
the blob on holiday, and it all kicks off like in Hawaii or something.
The blob on holiday, the blob coast to coast, things like this.
The blob on the road.
Yeah. So this is what I'm thinking. I wanted to, and on the blob on holiday, obviously, you see it on the beach with like an umbrella sticking out of it.
Sunglasses just floating.
And then there's like holiday goers. One little kid's being like sucked into the blob, and
next thing you know, there's like a beach ball on it and stuff. I like it.
And so that's sort of my idea. I'm thinking that like I just thought about this at Savage Worlds, and I thought people were talking about con games and things that at ShakeCon, people were talking about con games and things that you would only ever do if you were playing like a one-shot. Yeah. I thought about this, and I thought this would be brilliant, but it would also be good because even if players had played it once before and they were totally metaing, it would still be fucking hard to beat the blob.
The blob, the blob's coming to get you. I like it. That's really cool.
So yeah,
Look out soon for the blob. It's coming away.
and the chef.
And the chef.
It's a new line of the games.
The games, but the company, and
And we're the game design guys.
available soon.
So don't forget, guys, if you want to send in your game design ideas and we read them out on this,
we will
on this
chat them
section.
up on the podcast, mate.
Wongus.
Send them over. Brilliant. That's the end of the segment.
In the future, you will be able to send a letter from anywhere on the planet. This is the future. This is the electro letter.
Beep, 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 boop, 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 boop. Hello.
There he is.
Welcome
Where's
to
he been?
Electro letters. Oh, not him.
Oh yes.
Podbot.
I rewired him the other day.
Pornhub.
No, oh shit!
Stop
I left
saying
bit
that.
on there. I left that bit on
This
there. Hold on.
section is where we read emails and letters from the internet. Correct.
They come out your butthole, don't they, Podbot?
RedTube. No,
No.
shut up,
Oh,
shut up.
Shit.
Ugh, I hate this little robot.
Change that
Right, I'm going to kick
algorithm.
him.
No, don't kick him.
Ah,
Malfunction. Oh shit!
Oh,
I've
dear.
set him now. Look, let me just reset him.
Right, anyway, this is Electro Letters where we read out your mail from the internet. And this week, we asked you to send in some examples of your favourite characters you've ever played in an RPG. What made them so awesome? Why did you enjoy playing them? And to tell us some of the cool shit they did, as well as send us in some of your general questions. But first off, let's get into some of your awesome characters. Matthew Jones sent in the first one. He made a character called Denver Potts. He was a half-orc paladin. Hello, I'm Denver Potts.
Right,
I'm
Denver Potts.
I'm
here.
half-orc. He bleached his hair and avoided direct sunlight at all costs to try and hide his orcish heritage. So actually, the name makes sense. Mm-hmm. He was good-hearted but hated his heritage and would always rush to others' aid, even to the point of terrifying them. Let me help you.
I'll help you.
We were told some people might want to attack this woman, and we thought we saw someone climb in her window. So Denver did what any paladin would do and rushed to her aid, pounding on her door and alerting her to impending danger. She refused to let him in and asked for him to leave. And Denver informed her that my God would not allow me to leave her in any danger. So Denver started trying to break in the door and failed miserably. Denver ended up taking more damage than the door, and the other players pulled him off and apologised for him. It was hilarious. He then included some artwork in there as well.
There he is.
There's
That
Denver.
cheeky grin.
This artwork, I mean, it looks like it was drawn on MS Paint, but I don't want to be rude about it because it looks like he's obviously taken a lot of time to draw this.
Yeah, I like the hat.
He's wearing sort of like a fedora and then like paladin armour. But then he's done like a sort of like swirly background
Using
using
like a mutant wasteland. Or
using
something.
the spray paint tool on
Yeah.
MS Paint. Very
Right.
good. Well done.
Okay, and our next letter's coming from Manuel Sams, and he says, "How can Iron Brew be so disgusting and yet so delicious at the same time? Nobody knows, but
Well,
it is."
he came to visit England recently,
Yeah.
and I got him a bottle of
First time
Iron
was it?
Brew.
Oh, was it his first time?
I think it was his second time
Okay.
visiting the UK, but it's the first time he's had Iron Brew. Now,
Wow.
for those that don't know, Iron Brew is a Scottish soft drink, and he said that it tasted like some bubblegum that he used to have when he was a kid. Mm-hmm. And just distilled into a drink, I guess. Which,
Iron Brew.
when you put it that way, is kind of disgusting. But Iron Brew's awesome, Manuel, because it outsells Coke 3-1, and Coca-Cola tried to buy them, and they refused. So, yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, go on, son.
It's made out of girders, mate. So anyway, he says, in World of Darkness, if you got bit, what clan would you be? First edition, what they now call the classic World of Darkness, I believe, and why? Okay, cool. So
That's a very good question.
That is a good question.
I would most definitely go for Tremere because they have thaumaturgy, which is rad as fuck. And I like them. I thought they were pretty cool. I think the history behind them was pretty rad. How they had all that.
That's what I played, wasn't it, in our game?
Was it?
I think I was Tremere.
Oh yeah, you were. Yeah, because you had Blood Snipe.
Yeah, Blood Snake.
I can't even remember what that was called now. Oh, it's Theft of Vitae, where you could take people's blood from a distance.
Blood Snake.
And we had a house rule where we made it 100 metres instead of 50.
Yep.
That was brilliant.
But you could see the origin of the attack.
Yeah, I would totally go Tremere. I love them.
I played it a bit last time, so I think I'll go Malkavian this time because I like the crazy.
Yeah, but this has to be in real life.
Oh, in real life? Oh, blimey. Okay. In real. Oh, if I got bitten in real life. Yeah, I'd still go Malkavian. Why not?
Fair enough. But he follows up by saying, a character I enjoyed a lot back in the day, as in about 20 years ago, was from our Star Wars D6 game. He was a smuggler named Christy, and I played him as a cross of Christy from Alien 4 and Han Solo. He was the archetypical Corellian smuggler, just with a lot more booze. His drink of choice was Takari. Yes, I ripped off tequila for Star Wars. Smoking and swearing. He met his end when one of the other characters fired on a Star Destroyer. At that time, we didn't even have contraband on board, so he thought it would just be a chill encounter. Maybe getting pushed around by some stormtroopers, but nothing seriously bad. So when Kay declared my character opens fire on the Star Destroyer with our turbo lasers, that took us by surprise. Turns out he was wanted by the Empire for being a runaway cyborg experiment. As you can imagine, we lasted about half a combat turn after his opening salvo. Up to this day, I still love to tease Kay with how he killed Christy, a character I had played for years at that time.
Oh,
that's unfortunate.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's always annoying, especially when your character's death. Sometimes when you have a character that you play for a long time, and then you do something dumb that gets him killed.
You're really angry with yourself, aren't you?
Yeah, but when it's somebody else's fault... Oh, mate. I love the fact that he says he likes to tease him. I would just be straight up not talking to that guy anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, he would have been blocked from my phone a long time ago.
Yeah, exactly. Man, that guy, I would kill him in real life.
Yeah, you killed Christy.
You kill Christy, I kill you now.
Yeah,
you die.
That's how it works.
Exactly.
Okay, next letter's coming from James the Pumpkin Clark. And he says, Hubert Bottommouth.
From Call of Cthulhu.
It was the first tabletop RPG in a long time that I was playing, and with some new faces too, of which I now class as some of my closest friends. Thank you very much. The campaign itself was amazing. Well done, H. And it's been spoken about at length before, so I won't go into detail. I got a 99 proficiency with my rifle, which was amazeballs. He had a wicked, cool, old man, posh English accent as well. Just overall, I think this campaign will resonate with me forever, as it came to real-life friendships and fond memories. In and out of game. Mad Max scene on whilst poised on the back of a truck sniping at a copter as well. Oh yeah, do you remember that?
Yeah, so it was pretty cool because James's character became so good with rifles just over the course of it was because it was the course of 2 campaigns, basically, because we played we ended one long campaign in Call of Cthulhu, and then with the same characters started up another one,
Gatewayed into Pathfinder, didn't we?
Exactly. And this the second campaign which took place in sort of dystopian future, kind of his character had become very good at rifles. I mean, he wasn't like the deepest character in the world, but he was one that was sort of like close to us because he was just like a bumbling posh old guy, basically.
Yeah, he was always drunk and
that was basically the character.
But he was brilliant.
Nutshell. But like, he was really cool because he had his place in the party as being like the comedy relief, and he was often getting people out of situations just by being a bumbling fuck because he could create confusion. Like, you remember, like, you go into a place and as soon as the discussion started getting into fighting talk, he'd be like, and then that would be it. Everyone would just be like confused, and they'd be like, right, let's get out of here, guys. And then he as well, I mean, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool that he got so good with his rifle as well. Like, when he was on the back of this truck, they were fleeing through the desert being chased by a helicopter, and he was sniping the helicopter.
Oh man, half copter, half bug type creature thing flying.
It was really cool.
Yeah,
and
awesome.
I think, like James had said, it was his first character in a long time, and I think it was one where he kind of did a very good job because he didn't know anything about Call of Cthulhu, and he was watching Downton Abbey at the time, and I think he just decided to I'm just going to make a posh
and it was
rich
that first
guy.
ever game, wasn't it, where we all met?
Yeah, exactly. So it was a very, very fun character that really stuck with that group and really had his place in that group, and I loved him. Yeah, he was an absolute classic.
Me too.
So yeah,
thank you very much, Jims.
Thank you, James. Next one comes in from Terry Hansen. He says, my favourite character was in a vampire LARP. He was a Nosferatu elder named Warren de Montague. Or is it Warren de Montague?
De Montague, yeah.
He was supposed to be a Toreador, but was vengeance embraced by a Nos. He had maxed out presence and would throw around majesty all the time. He was filthy rich and an amazing sculptor. I had a baby blue 3-piece suit and a fuzzy blue bathrobe I made into a trench coat. Oh yeah, because this was a LARP, so he would have had to do that in real life.
Yep.
Very nice. I took the lame floor, so he got around the Warrens in an all-terrain sewer jazzy. What the fuck does that mean?
I don't know.
What's a sewer jazzy?
I don't know.
Because Nosferatu tend to live in the sewers,
yeah.
Right? So is a sewer jazzy something that people use to get around sewers?
All-terrain sewer jazzy.
Maybe it's something that people, like workers, use to get around the sewers.
Oh, okay, yeah, possibly.
I don't know.
Terry, let us know what that means, mate.
Sewer jazzy. His art form was grotesque and morbid marble statues. He would showcase his art in Elysium and delight in toreadors becoming entranced in his masterful obscenities. I loved playing the standard foolish fop character that when he was down in the sewers, he was a cruel, sadistic, powerful, hungry manipulator. That sounds awesome.
Does sound really awesome.
And the fact that he got to go to these LARPs wearing a fucking bathrobe. I mean, that's just... I think that he made that character based on the fact that he wanted to just be comfortable.
And be out in his bathrobe. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he was just like turning up to this thing in his bathrobe. People would be like, Terry, you just come here. You just got out of the bath, haven't you? And he was like, no, this is my character's outfit.
It's
It's a trench coat. Duh, idiot. And like, Terry, are you wearing anything underneath that? And he's like, yes.
Pride. I like it. Nice one, Sal. If we ever meet, you must show us that bathrobe.
Or not, actually.
Well, maybe not yet. Next one's in from Patrick Greenlaw. Hello.
Hello.
And he says, as for my favourite character, a high school game I was in that a friend's dad ran in his basement, a gamer's man cave if ever there was one. I played a half-elf thief acrobat magic user.
Wow, that's a mash-up if I've ever seen.
Yep. We had a new player in the group playing a paladin, and he was pissing everyone off at the table. During the third session with this player, while we slept around the campfire, I snuck up to the paladin and assassinated him.
Yes, get him.
This drew a large argument, but the DM ruled that since I was chaotic neutral, I played it true, not just to be an arse. And I saw how the paladin's actions put us in more danger than normal twice. I could reasonably kill the paladin, reasoning that it would increase the rest of the party's and my survival. I also stole several magic items and about 40 platinum pieces. The player quit that night, which was my plan, admittedly. Back when I was 16, I had a vindictive streak, especially in game. My problem with the character came when I was also stealing from the rest of the group and got caught. The confrontation led to a nasty battle, which ended up with me and our cleric dead. The cleric was a good friend of mine, so while he was upset, he figured it was worth it in seeing my character die as well. He created a new cleric and I created a new halfling thief, chaotic good this time. They did not want me to play chaotic neutral anymore.
Fair enough. That's really amazing. I love the fact that they had this big argument where he was trying to reason that he killed that guy for the good of the party, and then he was like, but then it got worse.
Robbing him's definitely for the good of the party.
No, but then they caught him robbing off all the other players as well. So it's like, well, this is also for the good of the party. Ignore this. Like, this is fine.
I want these gold pieces for us.
Yeah. I want these. I'm stealing off the rest of the party for the good of the party because I think that they got too much money.
And they were like, get him.
Yeah. It's so funny.
Brilliant. Thank you, Peter.
Yeah, Patrick
even. Oh,
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you very much, Patrick.
Peter Greenlaw there.
Peter Greenlaw there.
What a guy. That was awesome.
Brilliant.
Zovia RPG Maps comes in. She says, I played a little girl in 50 Fathoms. She was cursed and couldn't speak to anyone, so she found a way around it and spoke to everyone else through her little doll.
Cool.
I heard about this one before. I think Gary might have told me about it, but that's a really, really cool idea.
I like that. That's really
I love
cool.
it. So she must have just sort of... I don't know if she whispered into it and then went, the doll says fuck you, or doesn't like you, or if the doll actually spoke. But either way, that's creepy.
Or maybe she had learnt the art of ventriloquism and had cut a little flap in the doll's mouth and was just like.
Well, either way, it's creepy as fuck and awesome. I like that a lot.
Thank you very much, Sylvia.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. That's a really, really cool character idea. I think I nicked it. Yes, I did. In Vampire.
Oh, of course. My sire.
Yeah, so I did hear about this before. And in Vampire, one of the sires, Elizabeth, she...
Spoke to a little doll.
And often spoke through it when she was delivering awkward information. It wasn't quite the same, but I was inspired by that idea.
Nice.
So whenever she was delivering awkward information, she'd be like professional and normal. And then whenever she was saying something like, she'd be like, what is that? Yes, my doll, she thinks you are a cunt. Yeah. Of course, I don't agree with her.
She says she has her ways, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So the next one comes in from Tony Fanning, a.k.a. Darth Asmodeus. And he says, favourite character of all time? My Titan Juicer for Rifts. Actually, a former dog boy. St. Bernard. Titan Juicer. I wish I knew what any of this meant. GM was running a MDC characters only rule at the time. What's MDC? Don't know either. Right, oh God, this is a confusing email. And I really liked my old liberated dog boy Bruno, so we compromised. His death was a classic juicer, live fast, die hard death, and a story of legend in my gaming group. But it's a rather long story, but a good one. So the party is on Phase World, and we are trying to set up a meeting with a contact offering to sell us a lead on a villain we had chased there from Atlantis. When said villain sets up an ambush for us on the 138th floor of a hotel/casino, we are literally caught with our pants down, changing into fancy dinner clothes for the meeting. A heated firefight ensues. The fight starts to go south quickly, and odds are leaning heavily into the villain's favour, as we are no match for his newly hired Kriegor mercenaries, and the Borg and I are already lugging two of our bleeding, dying comrades, and we are slowly being herded into a dead end. Then the Borg takes a major hit, and he too goes down. It is then that I decided today is my day. Was pretty sure it was coming soon anyway, as the GM had informed me to start making my next character soon.
That's never good.
Oh dear. So I pull the GM aside and explain what I want to do. He gives me the thumbs up and I go for it. Tossing my last 2 fusion grenades down the hall, I grab my entire party up in my enormous arms and leap out of a shattered window. On the way down, I manage to spot an oncoming hover truck, and miraculously I successfully toss all my friends into a safe and slightly painful landing in its bed. My GM has one of them wake long enough to see old Bruno smiling and waving to him as he plummets to his big splat below. That party has lost a lot of people over the 2-year span of the campaign, but whenever they went to a bar, they always drank to Bruno first.
Nice.
I miss playing that big, dumb, lovable maniac.
That's brilliant. So he just got them all in his big arms, burst out of a window, slung them into a flying hover ship, and then was like, see ya! Just flew through the sky and splattered.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Fell to the ground in a big dog boy
Riff
mess.
sounds mental. I need to play it.
Yeah, it does sound alright. But it was like a lot of the words there I didn't get. He's like, I was up in the hotel room, and then a bunch of kaflaga came in, and I juice booms, and I had to quickly Borg my way out of that shiznab, and then I was flying towards the floor, and a Spagorgian hover truck was flying by, and I bursted my way out of there,
Quickly snap wop.
Exactly. But that was a very cool story nonetheless.
Thank you very much. Next one's in from Matt Stark, and he said, I heard you guys like to pretend you're mutant animals like kitty cats and puppy dogs. So tell me all about GenLab Alpha. Have you played it yet? It doesn't sound like something I'd be interested in, but if you can convince me, maybe I'll try it out. Well, first of all, I know that Matt owns Tales from the Loop.
He's got Tales from the Loop. So if you know how to play that, first of all,
that's your dice system, yeah.
You'll know how to play this, so that's one thing. Second of all, yeah, it's bloody wicked.
Yeah,
you would love
it's
it.
not just like playing an animal, you are a mutated human-animal hybrid, so think of it more along them lines.
And it's got a hell of a lot of personality, man. A hell of a lot. You
The art's
totally
brilliant.
pick it up. But we're going to do a full episode on it. I did message him to say this. So the thing is, listen out for that, because the fact of the matter is you're gonna hear that soon.
And I think you'll love it, Matt. It's very, very good. But if the animals ain't your cup of tea, you've got the mutant humans, you've got Mechatron coming, and finally you'll have pure humans, which is the last book coming apparently. So very cool.
But I would check it out.
Yeah.
Next up, we got a question in from Zovia. I decided to separate them out. So this is a question from her.
Yep.
She says, I have very specific ideas about my character, and most of the time the rules of the game aren't flexible enough to make it happen. Do you allow bending of the rules to make unique characters? And if so, what? And how do you allow it? I don't think in any system we've ever really come up against that where characters wanted to make something so specific the rules couldn't allow for it.
No, I mean I played a schizophrenic alien once, and we had to look at the rules a little bit closer, didn't we?
Well, we had to sort of make up a rule for that, because they did have rules in GURPS for bipolar and things like this, and split personality. But the way that works is it kind of like you just had like one personality and you switch to another personality where you just sort of have a different personality, but it didn't actually affect your charisma score. It didn't affect this, that, and the other, and I didn't really like that.
No.
Whereas the way you wanted to do it was a really effectively a cartoon way, almost like The Mask or something like this, where when he switched to his other personality, he became capable, strong, and things like this.
Yeah.
But when he was his normal personality, he was
pathetic, really, wasn't he? Yeah,
he was pathetic, but better at talking, better at science,
exactly,
and
that's it,
and things like this. So we kind of made something up. So we had two different character sheets, and some abilities would only activate when
depending on what kind of mind he was in, wasn't it? Yeah,
exactly. So for that, I'd say we bent the rules, because that's not something that the game actually
wasn't game breaking. No, it just gave my character's idea more flesh to it, really, didn't it?
I would say that I would always try to come come up with something to allow somebody to play what they want to play.
Absolutely. Someone's got a grand idea, as long as it's not going to, I think, affect other players.
And as long as it's not too out of the box wacky. Like, if for example, I'm playing, a dungeon called Classics, and the person says, I want to be a dinosaur, then I'm like, well, go fuck yourself.
Another bloke's like, I want to be a teapot.
Yeah, but for example, with the talking through the doll thing or something like this, maybe I would bend the rules and say, even though there's no rules for it,
we'd house
rule it. We'd house rule it and be like, let's say for instance you wanted to play a spellcaster, we were playing Pathfinder. Technically, spells have a verbal component, but I would be like, well, that could be the remarkable thing about your character, that you're able to cast spells even though your doll is the one talking.
Yeah.
So it's like people don't know how you do it, and that's why your character is remarkable.
Yeah,
so yes,
awesome.
That I would bend the rules in that way.
Absolutely.
Because it's fun.
It has positive impact on the game, doesn't it? It's
exactly.
Like, it's fun,
or negative.
cool,
like
or negative.
Maybe some wizards would try to capture you, or maybe people would find you remarkable. Like that sort of thing. Yeah, I think I would. In 100% of the cases.
As long as the idea is good.
Exactly. Exactly.
Crap.
If it's crap, I go maybe don't do that, mate. But yeah,
maybe you should get
you know what? I would try. I would try. Is what I'm saying.
Absolutely. Yeah. You try your hardest to see and try and accommodate for it.
Exactly. Yeah. Eric Lamoureux comes in with a question. He says, "Do you GM standing up or sitting down?"
I tend to sit down.
So do I. But
James has got Anthony's pants though.
James always stands up because
sits down, walks around.
But that's because he's got a bad diet and he's always farting. But the thing is,
love you, James.
At ShakeOn, love you, James. At ShakeOn, most of the GMs did it standing up.
Oh, really?
And I've been inspired. I want a GM standing up.
I suppose it makes it more kind of you take more note, don't you, when someone's standing up?
And it's easier to lean over and move the minis about and stuff.
Yeah, and more hand gestures. You can be a bit more.
And people were chucking bennies to people. Hey, have a benny, motherfucker! Benny boy. So like, I really liked it. I'm thinking I'm going to try to GM standing up more
nice.
often. I thought it was more cinematic.
Stand up a little bit. If I'm doing quite a dramatic part, or you're getting right into the character when they're talking and stuff, it's quite good to stand up sometimes.
I didn't think anybody did it, to be honest with you. I thought that was just something you saw in films where they're trying to do like D&D but don't understand it.
But now we've learned.
So yeah,
stand up.
Next up, we got one from Zach Jenkins.
Boy.
Oh dear.
He's been paroled.
He's sent us a bloody email. Nick, you want to read this one?
I do, yes. Zach says, I played a Goliath fighter for the D&D module Princes of the Apocalypse. I, being the min-maxer I am, made him to be insanely OP. Then the first lieutenant we kill is the water one, and I get this completely epic trident drown. So after that, a level 5 or 6 barbarian was critting with a weapon that did 1d8 piercing and 1d8 cold plus a +5 strength modifier. I would hit for 15 to 20 damage with every attack. My DM actually had to buff every enemy with more health. On top of all that, I would abuse the shit out of my athletics and acrobat proficiencies and do insanely unhealthy and dangerous things, including at one point jumping from a griffin to the back of a manticore. After killing the manticore, I rolled a natural 20 to jump off the back back onto the griffin, saving a fellow player in the process. He was a big, strong, kind of dumb and didn't play well with others, but god damn it, if it wasn't the most fun character I've ever played. Awesome.
That sounds fun. I mean, imagine being that GM and you just every encounter you come up with, and this guy's just like, I hit with drown, and then it's just like, he dead now,
he died, big damage.
And the DM's like, okay, in this cave you can see this. What strategy do you come up with? What's the marching order? And they're just like, yeah, Goliath fighter goes up first, and then he's just like, I hit with drown. That strategy.
The wizard's like, yeah,
yes. I was going to use burning hands, but seeing as you've just made them into a goblin kebab, I will just leave it.
I will just leave it there.
Okay,
onward.
I hit with drown. Goodbye.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you very much, Zach. Hope the free life is treating you well.
We've got a question here from somebody that asked us to remain anonymous. So they say, we all know some systems character creation can be pretty time consuming. I think my first Pathfinder character held the record time for me, like 10 hours. What the fuck were you doing? To be fair, if you want to think about it that much, fair enough.
Yeah.
10 hours, bloody
hell, yeah.
Maybe they were maybe it was like not 10 hours continuously. Maybe they did 5 minutes, went down the shop for 9.5 hours, and then came back.
Another 10 minutes, yeah.
Have you ever spent a lot of time creating a character for a specific game, then the game never runs for whatever reason? If so, do you hold on to the character in the hopes you will get to play her sooner or later? In my case, that would be my French Air Force General for Twilight 2013. Yeah, I've created characters for games that I've never played, one-shots and things like this. I remember I created a bunch of characters for a D&D 4th edition game that I spent months making that never got played.
Oh, mate.
I know that my brother created a character for that very game that never got played.
Oh.
I made a Deadlands character for you once that never got used. But I kept them simply because...
I keep all my characters.
Yeah.
Every single character I've ever created.
Have you ever done that? You've made a character for a game?
I think I might have done before, but I still keep it.
I really hope that this person who spent 10 hours on the character, I hope that one got used.
Yeah, me too. I hope it's been recycled somewhere.
If it's 10 hours, you know,
that's a lot of work.
Yeah, imagine if it died on the first session.
I say hello to... Oh, dear.
yeah.
You get splatted by a dinosaur.
And a big Goliath fighter comes up.
They're followed by a juice boy, bloody...
Yeah, juice boy with some grenades.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I think that's happened to plenty of people because it'll just like fizzle out, or maybe somebody's like started up a campaign, they've got the highest intentions of doing it. I remember when I started my first Call of Cthulhu campaign, and I invited a bunch of people because this always used to happen where I'd start up a campaign and I'd invite 4 people because I want 4 people to play the game, and then loads of people would inevitably not do it, and then I would just be like, well, this time I'm going to invite loads of people, so I invited like 20 people, and then all of them said yes, and I ended up creating a lot of characters for people who just I was just like, I can't do this, so I ended up having to cancel the event and just invite specific people instead, because I was just like, well, I can't do this. So
is that how our first game materialised?
Yeah,
nice.
So a lot of characters got made that never got used
on the cutting room floor.
You fucking absolute shithead.
Who's this? It's Richard Woolcock.
Here he is. First of all, I'd like to say thank you so much for the dice, Rich. I really, really liked my little goblin dice.
Yes, he sent us some Saga of the Goblin Horde dice.
Yes.
So if you want those, well, you can't get them. We got them. Oh, well, thank you very much for those, man.
Yes, thank you, Rich.
He says, I hope I'm not too late to the party. There's a couple of characters I'd like to mention. The first was no, I'm not going to do this voice. The first was a warlock in Rollmaster. He was named Zadmar. That's where I got my handle from. That explains the name of his website.
Yep.
Warlocks are spellcasters who specialise in curses and body alterations. All right, mate. Patronising. They're not supposed to be good at physical combat, but Rollmaster allows you to raise any skills you like, with your class determining the cost. I paid through the nose to make Zadmar as good at fighting as possible, and he used his magic to toughen his body. His favourite combat tactic was to cast a jumping spell, firing himself at enemies like a missile.
Nice.
And he was so tough that he usually recovered first, allowing him to finish off his enemies while they were stunned.
Oh, bloody hell.
The second character was a caitiff in Vampire the Dark Ages. He was designed as a combat monster, but I had always had amazing runs of bad luck with him. On one occasion I rolled 5 1s while charging some enemies in a castle. My character's spear hit a wall and snapped, and he staked himself on the broken end. Fucking hell. Rolling down the staircase to land at the feet of an enemy. Eventually I had to retire him after his legs got bitten off by an umbral crocodile. And an Oracle of Life, who agreed to help after he called in a major favour, botched her healing roll, causing one of my character's arms to vanish as well.
What a night this. We had one arm.
He was just a nugget.
I had to retire him after he became a nugget.
Oh man, what's the character's name? Oh, it doesn't say. Is it,
Yeah.
well, let's just call him.
Oh no, he's just a caitiff.
Which leads on to a question for you. What are your most memorable critical failures / botches?
Oh, Dr. Twist, man, that's got to be a big one.
Dr. Twist was quite an amazing one. We won't go into the backstory that much because we spoke about it on our How to Create Good Characters podcast, which was
episode 2, I believe. No,
it's like episode 4.
Something like that.
Doesn't matter. Go
anyway,
look it up.
Go check it out.
Point is that Dr. Twist, he was the most short-lived character we've ever had in an RPG because what happened is that he was alive for 5 minutes in the game. He literally said, there was a bomb about to go off, and he said, I shut the door, right, not realising that he was still on the inside of the house where the bomb was about to go off. And then he said, okay, I'm going to roll agility to get out of there. he rolled a 1, and then I said, okay, right, you've got 3 seconds. I'm going to allow you to try one more time. And then he rolled, this was GURP, so he rolled another triple 1. So he rolled 2 critical failures in a row, and then boom, house blows up, he's inside. I mean, there was no two ways about it. I couldn't be nice and say, oh yeah, but, this, or but, you were saved because of...
No, door blew off.
There was
a burnt carcass
it was
left.
big enough to blow up a house, it blew up a man.
It blew up Dr. Twist.
Recently in Gen Lab, I had pretty bad run of luck, didn't I? Because I was fighting one of these fucking moonlight butterfly things. No,
Psionic butterfly. Oh no, it was a sniper bug.
It was a sniper bug. I was fighting a sniper bug, and we were trying to roll move because you can escape combat using move, and I was trying to do that.
Could not get out of there, could you?
I couldn't get out of there. James's character, Boris, he was out there like a shot. I was stood there. I tried move. This thing just kept catching up to me. So literally, he catches up. I try to run. He catches up. I try to run.
Oh,
it was just this big long chase scene, and then in the end, I decided to try and fight it. I try to hit it. I miss. I try to hit it. I miss. I try to hit it. I miss. I'm just like, well, what can I do? So in the end, basically, it's like 5 minutes of me in combat with this thing. James's character Boris is sitting in the woods by himself, having run away, and he's like, "Where the hell is he?" And then he's just like, "Okay, let's go. I gotta go back."
Pick him up.
He's like, "I guess I better go back then." And then he just like turns around, comes back into the combat, and sorts
to help you out. Yeah, exactly.
So it was awful.
Oh man, that was a bad run.
But yeah, really, really good load of questions there, guys.
Yeah,
massive
amount this time. Lovely.
Yeah, loved all of the character stories. Some absolutely great characters.
Mm-hmm.
Of all of them, I've got to say I really liked Dog Boy. He was cool.
Man, yeah, me too.
And I really liked the posh orc as well. The picture is amazing.
That's really funny. I like the sound of Zadmar, the bullet warlock missile.
That's genius.
Yeah,
it's just like boing. Imagine that bursting through a door coming at you. Genius.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for all the letters. Keep them coming in. We absolutely love them.
So what do you guys think happened?
One of the players Robbie played with got carried away and killed him.
Well, that's kind of far out.
Mazes and Monsters is a far-out game. Swords, poison, spells, battles, maiming, killing.
Hey, it's all imagination.
Is it?
Yes, definitely.
I'll be talking to you.
Alright, see you later. So, that brings us to the end of the episode, and of course, we need to break you off some contact details, because I haven't been doing that in any episodes.
Oh dear.
We forgot to do it for like 5 episodes.
Have we really?
Yeah. So,
okay, so if you'd like to get in touch with us, you can email us, which is tabletoptwats@gmail.com, or what about Facebook?
You can get in contact with us on Facebook, and that is /tabletopT.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not allowed twats on there. Also, Twitter is @tabletoptwats. And we've also got and then pop over to the Nerds International on Google Plus, which is where it's all going on as well. And don't go near Tumblr; it's weird.
Exactly.
And we've retired that shit.
So we also want to mention a couple of the other guys on the Nerds International group. That is the Dragons Toolbox, run by Stefan Dragonspawn, and Thoughts of a Barbarian, run by Matt Stark. These are 2 great blogs all about RPGs that you can go and read right now, with plenty of back articles if you haven't already read them.
Yeah, I especially liked Matt's stuff on Tales from the Loop, actually. It got me right into
that. Yeah, very, very good. So go and read those now, or don't if you don't want to, but I'd recommend that you do.
I think you should, yeah.
Yes. So, we also wanted to make a little announcement. Nick and I are having a baby. No. We wanted to make a little announcement because pretty soon we're going to have a permanent third host on the show, right? In it.
Right, yep.
So we're going to tease that now.
We're expanding.
That's the tease.
That's all we're saying.
It's going to be someone that you know, someone that you've seen before on this show, and that's it. We're expanding. We're going to tease it, and we're going to do a live Q&A on Discord soon with him.
Yeah, to see if he or her hold up to our amazing fans. So we're going to sling him in on a Discord Q&A
or
see how he gets on, or him or her. Yeah. And hopefully our listeners will
like him.
It alive.
Yeah, or her.
Or her, him, it. But yeah, more coming soon. That's all we're saying at the moment. But watch this space for that. Exciting.
So obviously, before we go, we like to give you some mind food, a thought to ponder on before the next.
Yeah, it's like a treat for the brain, isn't it?
Exactly, and this will keep you going until the next.
Keep you switched on, keep you engaged. Yep.
Until the next episode comes out, so that you're not bored.
Mm-hmm.
And this week's thought of the week is going to be: You know when Windows says it's checking for a solution to the problem? Mm-hmm. Has it ever found a solution to the problem?
Oh.
And with that leaves one final thing to be said. One final thing, one yoke of the universe that actually combines us all into one person. One person that if we actually concentrate our brains enough, we can connect with each other and we can find in each other's thoughts and dig into them. And
unlock our true potential.
Exactly. And when you unlock that true potential, it will not be a collection of words, it will be a symbol. But that symbol, when translated into words, back into English, will actually read thusly.
Chicken McBosh.
Wonga.
How long have they been practicing in there? Shut up. Oh, this is taking ages. It's been what? 2 weeks now? They must be ready to go up to the mountain and play against the rock god and show him their practice.
But you have to remember, he was pretty bad.
Yes, I suppose. Come on, any minute now.
Good session, good session.
My wrists are really hurting now, I must say.
Well, that sounds bad if you just come out of a room saying that.
No, I've been drumming it real hard.
That sounded pretty gay.
Really banging it.
Masturbation?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you see what I mean?
I see.
It sounded, it sounded pretty masturbatory. Yeah, exactly. So
I was just trying to say that I've been really trying hard on my banging and bashing.
yeah, you're playing the drums.
Exactly.
Why don't you just say things how you mean it, man?
Well, I'm an artist now. I want to be unusual.
Okay, fair enough. So, Corpse Mangler, I think we're ready to go up the mountain and to defeat the rock god in a rock battle or whatever.
We're gonna rock his pants off.
Well, you know you've got to get all that band equipment up the mountain, don't you?
What?
I said you've got to get all that band equipment up a mountain, don't you?
No, I heard you. I meant what as in, what the hell are you talking about?
Drums, guitars, everything, up a mountain.
But,
oh god.
And the amp as well.
You're gonna need it to make the sound come out. Well, exactly, Nigel. And there's only 3 of us, all this band equipment. I don't know, man, maybe it won't be that bad.
But look at the mountain. It's massive, and there's snow all over it.
Ah, come on, man.
And that wind.
Keep your spirits high, it won't be that bad.
Am I just the only one that's a bit worried? Fine.
Don't worry, it'll be fine.
Oh God! What did I say?
Nigel, is that a polar bear?
I can't see.
We're gonna burn them.
My eyes are frozen closed.
Oh God! I can't even feel my testicles.
I told you this would be a nightmare.
Nigel, can you check my testicles?
What? Now's not the time, Harrison.
Fuck the testicles! I'm gonna burn.
Oh my God! I think I've got frostbite.